Hi all, I'm Dev Kumar and I'm an undergrad from Amrita University during the years 2019 to 2023. And now we are going to have a session on the CRUD operations using mean stack. So I'll quickly share my screen and so I guess, yeah, I'll quickly share my screen and start. So can anyone say is my screen visible? Hello?
Possible.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So for this, there's a prerequisites for the CRUD operations using mean stack. So first, we have to just install the Node.js and Node Packet Manager, and these are the steps to install. So if you click the link, wait, let me share this README file in the chat so that yeah. If you go to the link, there will be a prerequisite section in the README, and first we have to just install the Node.js and Node Package Manager by the steps mentioned in this link. And after installing, so you just go here and choose your OS X or Windows, like or Linux based on the operating system that you use, and install the Node.js package manager and npm. So after installing this, you just have to create an account on MongoDB using the below link. So just go to mongodb.com and log in via Google or GitHub or create an account, and then if you just create an account, you'll be redirected to this Atlas database. So here is where we are going to configure all our database and operations, do CRUD operations on this database. So I'll just quickly show like how to set up a database and create a project and set up a database for it. So first, I just have to this will be a home screen when you just log in to that, and just create a new project and then give some name for it. Let's say like I'm giving CRUD operations one. Yeah, and then you can just add your team members onto the project, or if you want. Else you can just click on create project to create one. And then here you can see the overview, and database section can be seen over here. And next is you have to deploy this cluster for the project that you have created. So click on the create button to just go ahead and select the free instance so that like you won't be charged for any database operations. And you can choose the provider, either it's an AWS or Google Cloud or Azure. So all your data will be stored under this, and you can just give a name to your cluster where you say like CRUD operations one, and then create a cluster. So you can allow username and password to access this cluster and the database. So I'm just giving my username and some random password. So yeah, just created one user, and then where would you like to connect from? So you can access this database from any networks. Just you have to give the IP address as 0.0.0.0 so that you can access this from any of the IP address available in the internet. So and then give say a description like allow access to everyone. Or you can just if you want to just log in and access only via your particular IP. So you can just get your public IP and then add it as an entry here and allow it. So now it will be accessed by all the IP addresses available in the internet, and then we just have to click on the finish and close it. Yeah, so now we have created a project and then we have assigned a cluster to the project. Next up is that we just have to connect a database to the code that you are writing to just do the CRUD operations into the database. So either you can do it directly via this four methods where you can create a shell and then just use this like command line interface to push or create, update, and delete, create a database or something. Else you can the best way is to use the MongoDB Compass where you can just visualize your GUI kind of thing by MongoDB itself, where you can visualize your data and explore or modify it. It's a kind of an a separate app. So I'll tell you like how to install. Or else if you click on this, you'll get to know like how to install the app. So here it'll ask for two options, whether if you want to install MongoDB Compass or if you've already installed, just click on this and go with the procedure. So let's say I don't have the MongoDB installed, so I'll just click on this and based on the OS, I'll just download the file and then open this, open the installer. So if I have the MongoDB installed, I'll just go and click on this and copy that. So I already have the MongoDB installed, so I'll just go and copy and create one new database for this. So this is how it will look like. So this is how it will look. You just have to log in with your MongoDB credentials and you'll get all your database and operations on the side. So there you would have seen the MongoDB SIB URI. So you just copy this URI and paste here and then say the password that you gave for the user and just say connect. So it will connect and load all your databases and the cluster that you have assigned through the MongoDB. Yeah. So until here, any doubt? If not, we'll move on to the next step. Okay. Yeah. So next step, I'll show you how to yeah. Next is that now here we are going to use the mean stack. So mean stack comprises of MongoDB, Express, and Angular and Node.js. So now we have installed Node and MongoDB. Next is that AngularJS. AngularJS doesn't require any specific installation or kind of you don't have to download anything onto your machine. Just wherever you're using in the HTML, wherever you're going to use it, you just have to include the script tag so that it'll download all the libraries and functions from the MongoDB and AngularJS, and you can directly use those functions in your HTML. So this W3 Schools website is a good place to start learning AngularJS, and yeah, I can see everything how we can give an expression, intros, modules, directives, and everything. So it'll have everything. So some sample kind of MongoDB, AngularJS file where I can give the input and based on the controllers how it works. Everything you can just learn it from here. And yeah, next is that after successfully installing your more Node.js and npm, I can go into your directory, working directory. So I'll just go into my working directory. So this one is my working directory, and you can see there are yeah, 5 folders, and then app.js. So here, if you do npm space init, you'll just initialize and packages and all the repositories based on Node.js, and it will be useful in case you want to install all the Node modules in the future. It'll automatically initialize those repository and set up everything for you. And yeah, let's go over the code. So first is that app.js file. App.js file is the basic JavaScript file which is used to configure all your database configurations and then Express configuration. Yeah, before that, we'll just know like why are we using Express over here. So these are the packages that you need to install with npm Node Package Manager. So first one is the Express.js. So in app Node.js, for creating and get or post request, like that's how the DB operations work. Like you just push using a post or retrieve using and get call. For creating those things in Node.js, it would be a difficult task. Like you just have to code some 20 lines and then do all those stuff. But with Express is like based on Node.js only, but it's kind of like a minimalist framework for Node.js. So in this, they have the predefined functions. You just call them and then use it for building APIs or handling routes and request and response, everything. So next up is that EJS. So EJS is that embedded JavaScript where in your HTML, if you want to use any of the JavaScript based functions without using the script tag, let's say like I want to retrieve something from the DB, and for that I just have to create a script tag and use everything get an function, make a function and get everything through the DB, and then assign it to that particular variable that we have input field that we have assigned in the HTML. But EJS allows you to directly uh, specify the value from the database and then use it as an use it in any particular field that you want directly instead of the script tag, so that it'd be easier for you to code, or in the future you can just instead of making own scripts for the particular for retrieving data, like you can just use this to it's an online thing, so it'll be faster. So Express Handlebars, coming to the Express Handlebars, there's a template engine where it allows you to configure all those uh, directories that you specify in the app.js. So in here, I have specified few directories, right? Like app.use slash CSS images JS and slash. So in general, Express Handlebars allows you to configure these directories and the files and serve the files inside those directories to use it anywhere across your app.js. So this will be useful for you. Instead of you just go and give the path, you can specify it here and it'll take care of everything. And Mongoose, coming to the Mongoose, you already have created the MongoDB and the Node.js is separate on your machine. So to integrate this MongoDB with the Node.js, we just have to install a library where this will talk with a MongoDB, and for further operations in the DB, this will be useful. So yeah, this will define schemas and perform queries and whatever the get post that you're doing the MongoDB, and it'll retrieve the data and display it to you. And no demand, this is an optional, so it's not required mandatory. It's not a mandatory thing. So it just it's a simple Node.js package where if you have any changes, you don't have to refresh everything every time that you wrote. It'll automatically refresh the page and just you don't have to stay save manually the files. So just do the edit and then refresh a page. It'll take care of everything. You can just go through this, and if you have any doubt, can ask me. So I'll just now go over the code. So first one in the app.js. So here we have views, routers, and then models. So I'll tell you about the views first. Views is where you'll have all your HTML pages, and from that you'll use the Express.js in Node.js to view all those pages and display whatever you want, or everything. And routers is where you give kind of this is where you'd specify what the get post will return, what the get post will getter post will display the data, those things. So I'll just explain you in detail in further. And models is where you specify uh, this is my schema, and this is how this gonna store in the database, and these are the values for the schema and the value type for the schema that you define in the database. So first I'll go through the app.js. In app.js, first we import everything, like whatever the modules that we require, and you can see the home route as like from routers and then home.js. And then we just use the MongoDB URI that we created just now. And again, we have to paste it here so that like it'll set an DB in this particular cluster that you have defined. So yeah, and then just we connect the DB URI. If it is success, like it will start the uh, port number and then the app settings environment that we have configured. Else it will say an error. And the static files are like so express public. So publics are ones where you define like CSS images or JavaScript. In case if you don't want to like add everything in your index.html itself, and you just want to make it as a separate CSS file or JavaScript file, you can just go in there and add your files and then use this path to define it. And app.set view engine EJS. So here we use completely EJS, as I already mentioned, like embedded JavaScript instead of HTML. If you are using HTML, you can just specify instead of EJS, you can specify it as an HTML. So that like you can use all your HTML files over here. And in CSS, you'll specify all your CSS and images. You can give images whatever you want. And JavaScript, definitely like what are the JavaScript that you use in your HTML, you can just specify that. And the body passes are like where it will parse everything, and what are the user.js or like home.js, if it has anything, it will pass everything and give it a send in form of code. And coming to the first, I'll go to the user, home.js, and tell you like and in home.js, like we import everything, like what are the required modules, like so this access and router where like in a website, if you want to go to particular page or something like this, this is required in the Node.js. So we import this express.router method, and then the user schema is models.user. So this is the models and user.js. And yeah, first thing is like router.get is like if you do slash localhost 3000 and slash, you'll go to the index is index.js. And then the next method is router.post. So this post is to add and data into the DB. So I'll show you like where these functions are getting called in the views, but just like high level, I'll just show you like how it works. Yeah, if you do post to this slash add, it'll take all your parameters like name, product ID, category, everything, and then create a new user with all this IDs, and then user.save. This is where our Mongoose comes in. So first we would have set up Mongoose, right? So in this, we have specific methods to save, update, and delete data from the database. And here you can see one method is like save. So Mongoose, like this is the save method to save everything, the data that you have specified, and then redirect like if there is an error, like it will specify an error. And the next method is like find. Yeah, so in the display, like if we have to find every database entry and then display it over here, right? So this MongoDB find method uses like Mongo's find method uses and displays everything and list it over here. And then the next is edit it where like find one and update is an Mongo's method. So it'll find one particular ID and then you can just edit those values and save it, right? And then the next post method is like find by ID and update. So here we would have edited the data, but we just have to save it in the database. So this will help us to like update the values into the database and then redirecting to the display page. And then next is the get. So like if you want to delete a particular value from the database. So you'll use this find by ID and delete. So each values will have an ID, and that ID will be used to delete all those like values related configured with that ID. And you can see the redirect to display if there's no error. So this is how it works. So I'll go through the user.js first. So this is the schema that we are going to define in our Mongoose. So first is like create a Mongoose, and yeah, here we require Mongoose, and then create a schema, mongoose.schema. And schema is nothing but like the key and the value that you're going to store for a data, particular ID or data. Yeah, first like here I'll have new schema. So before that, I'll show how the web page looks, and based on that, we'll see the schema. So to run the web page, you just have to say node app.js, and it will run the app.js, and you can see the Express server listening on port 3000. And if there's no error, this will be listed. So we'll just go to localhost 3000 so to check that. Yeah. So first, like we'll do slash, and then you can see slash is retrieving the index.ejs. So this is our index.ejs, and you can see all those like name, product ID, category, and price, discount, and bonus, billable price, everything. So this slash returns your index.ejs, and you can see the same over here. So here we have different fields like name, discount, product ID, bonus, category, price, and billable price. So I'll show like this is the user schema that we have designed. Like name, the type string, and required yes if it's required, like we set it to true. If it's not required, you can set it to false. Then product ID, that's also string, and then everything's of string over here. Like and then we set everything to true as we require all the fields. And then we just say like model.export is equal to mongoose.model, and this the model name that we are giving for this, and this the schema that we are going to define for that module. Yeah, this so we are importing it here, and then let's go to the index.ejs, and here you can see yeah, we are having like name, product ID, category, price, discount, bonus, and billable price. So we are having all this, and here where like we use this AngularJS to like check whether if an name field is like properly entered, and so I have this controller where this AngularJS request and controller where I'll configure everything like checking whether configuring like regular expressions where you want to check like that name is proper, or like that email ID is proper, or the number is the number that we are entering is proper, those things. So this controller is set up over here, and you can see like this the main function where like you say like angular.module and the main app and the controller name that you're giving, and then see like in here I have defined like scope dot regular expression for checking name if it's under like a to z or small a to z, and plus some characters like in the same specified thing, it'll display it as a proper name, else it'll throw an error. So for that to check, here we go to ng model is the ID that we are defining, and the ng pattern. So this pattern is used to check the pattern that we have configured over here. So you have to give the same name that you have assigned over here, and then say like ng pattern is recheck name. So if it's not proper, then it'll throw an error. Same way, like yeah, if it's throwing an error, I can use ng show to show everything. Like you don't require any CSS, like this all like pre-configured thing in the AngularJS, and I can say like my form.name and error required. Just like if it's not if it's empty, we can say like field cannot be empty, And if the pattern, if there's an error in some pattern, you can just say like incorrect format. This what you will do for like further things. And then so like once the all the fields are entered in the form, so this is a form. You can see the form starting from here and going up till here. Yeah, starting from here to there. And the action for this is add. So this add will take effect over here that we have created. So router.post on the slash add, we say like we get everything and then create a user with all those details and then save it in the database. So now I'll show you like how it's gonna save. Let's say enter and name and then category. Let's say like the price is 1000 and we'll have some discount of 10 and the bonus in 500. Yeah, you can see right like if I just submit this, it will be stored in the database. And if I go to the database over here, yeah, you can see right. Whatever the values we entered is getting stored, and this is the unique object ID created for that particular value that we have entered. So this is the display field where it displays everything, the values that we entered through the database, and this I'll show you like how it works. So here in the home, yeah, in the index.js, we have specified the form and the user action to be add, and then we add one more button where it says like view all. So the view all says like if you on click on that, it'll go to that slash display. So slash display is nothing but uh, rendering display page and listing all the docs that we retrieve through the database. So this is the display.js, and you can see like here we say we get all the user details, and this in the table header format. And for particular like row, we are saying like we are having this column headers, and then table rows are like this one where it starts, and table data is like user.name. So this is what I said, like with EJS, you can perform this direct append of data instead of like having a script and appending it to your particular field. So just like going over this user list for all users, and user list is nothing but like what we have retrieved through the uh, routed. So you can see like while on get doing get, so we just say like if we have data in the database, you just retrieve all this and store it in a user list, and that user list will be stored we are passing through the user list and then getting all those data, name, product ID, category, in what format we have saved in the database using the schema. And then you just have to like say there will be a user ID which is stored for a particular like user or like the data details that we have saved. So just like calling those user ID and then say edit. So if I just for the same delete also like with that particular ID, we are saying delete and then the user ID. So here we have also configured the same router.get edit. So if there's some data in that particular ID, it will return it as users, and then user data will have all those data. And same for the delete. So for delete, find ID. ID is the ID that we are passing through the delete call. And then we just if we have found something in that ID, just deleting and then by this function, and then returning to the display. So I'll just quickly show how edit works. Yeah. First, edit. Yeah. So in edit, we have edit.djs. Yeah. Edit.djs is nothing but like what are the data. Yeah. What are the data that we store will be retrieved over here, and then the values will be set to that particular data. So here, like I have specified these things because like here we have to allow the user to also like select the options and categories, those things, right? So like whatever the options will be select, will be set in the upcoming edits that we gonna like trigger from here. So previously, it will be like the user data that's from the database, and the value will be like user data from the database. Everything will be the value that you have specified from the database, and then we just gonna like change and select and change, and then say like 100 and then 50, and then say like update. And then you can see here like this one will call the function slash edit and then do post to this call, and this call will say like find by id and update. So the id that we got from the database, so it'll search for that id and update all those fields that we have selected, and it redirects to the display like if there is no error, and we could see if there is no error, it redirected to the display. And last one is the delete method, and we just have to like click on the delete. So this one is where like we say on the display.tjs, we say like href and say delete slash user id, and that will call this function where delete.user id, and it says like find by id and delete, and if there is no error, we'll just redirect to the display. So these are the things we require. So like first, like create an app.js and make it as a skeleton where you set up all the MongoDB cluster connection and those things, and then the files you want to serve, the directories you want to serve, and the files inside those, and call the imports that you want to require, like Mongoose or Express or whatever you want, and then set up an one more router where like you will do all the route operations, get post calls to those route operations, and then add the requirements that you want, like if you want to do like display or redirect kind of things, and then create separate EJS files so that it will be easier to retrieve all data and paste it in like display it in your HTML file. This basic HTML where you just like create an uh, EJS form, created an EJS format and retrieve all those data. So I uploaded all these files in GitHub directory where I'll share it now. So you can just go through and like use this for your future like reference or kind of thing. So yeah, and you just have to like set up the MongoDB and create a database and allow all the network access and everything, and then connect it using your Compass, MongoDB Compass. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'll just share the GitHub. Yeah. Any doubts from your side? If there are no doubts, like we can call off this session and we can just go through the links shared. And yeah, if you have any doubt, you can just ping me to the same email and I'll respond to it. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for joining.